My name is Leslie, and I am the partner director. I work with Logical Position. I've been working with this team for so many years, and they've just been amazing partners. I'm excited to have our whole team here today. Joe Dries is our solution specialist. He's going to go through the majority of our presentation this afternoon. We have Meredith, who had the fun part, and she's our partner account manager. We also have Nathan here from marketing. There he is. And we're really excited to be here today. Again, there's just so much good work that Logical Position has been doing. I want to just take a moment to recognize LP and the partnership that we have. In 2024, they were recognized for the Independent Partner of the Year award, and this is a huge recognition. They're actually finalists for in 4 categories, and this was our 9th year for the awards for partners. And it just every year it gets so competitive, and partners are coming globally. So this is a huge recognition. And for this is really recognizing partners who are innovating with Microsoft and bringing success to their clients. Again, so much competition, but LP took the title, so we're just so proud of them. So just wanted to make sure I recognize them in this front of this group. Okay, so we're at the end of the day. There's just 3 key takeaways we want to make sure that you guys walk away with. First is that Microsoft is at the forefront of AI. So if you haven't been, under a rock, hopefully you've heard Microsoft and where we are and what we're doing with AI. I want to uncover that a little bit and bring you a little closer to what our journey has been. We have a massive, massive portfolio. For those who clicked the high numbers in the last trivia, we have a massive portfolio. We want to make sure you guys understand how big it is. It's probably larger than what you might be thinking based on the answers earlier. And that we have and share with you our retail audience. And also, I think you'll see by the end of the presentation why we are a true full funnel solution. Okay, so it's amazing that we've already celebrated a 2-year milestone in launching CoPilot. But our AI journey spans much more than the 2 years. In fact, it's been over a decade of AI research, massive investment in AI infrastructure, and just investing in partnerships. So, all of this has culminated into huge leaps of where our AI capabilities are today. So, meet CoPilot. Anyone here have heard of CoPilot? Anyone use CoPilot? Okay, I don't have enough coins to distribute to give everybody one, but CoPilot is our AI companion. It's our AI assistant. And our goal with CoPilot was to embed CoPilot through the entire Microsoft's ecosystem, through our consumer experiences, productivity solutions, and our ad platforms. So if you guys have experienced CoPilot, I know it's almost like a cheat for me when I use it. CoPilot runs through my professional day. It goes through my every day as a mom. So I use it regardless of what I am up to. But even like for myself, I took a 10-day vacation in Japan, and when I came back, I will tell you, CoPilot was my friend. Went through Outlook, helped me to prioritize my emails in Microsoft Teams, summary of all the meetings that I missed. It's truly an assistant, and it feels like I'm cheating sometimes. So when we talk about the Microsoft ecosystem, we have to actually pause, and we looked at numbers earlier, but we have to talk about Windows and the power of Windows. Windows operating system, we have over 70% market share, and we have 1.4 billion Windows operating devices globally. So that means we have very, very active users. We have, people are spending over 4 hours a day. And our demographic for the users are high household income, highly educated, more likely to spend. And the power of Windows, it is basically unlocks a number of other properties across Microsoft, so like MSN, casual games, CoPilot, and all of our other properties. So it's an incredible funnel. I mean, it's the only way, it funnels and fuels our properties. And Microsoft Copilot is truly here to stay. If I quote our CEO, Satya Nadella, he says, "We are a Copilot company." So you will see Microsoft Copilot woven through all of our properties. And it is truly an assistant that will become your companion. So in the last 2 years, we actually learned quite a bit. And we've gone through and refined our properties and the look and feel of Copilot. We made it much more calmer, and we made it more intuitive and more useful. And all of the work that we've done, we're seeing that our users are really finding it useful. We've seen huge growth. So since the launch, we've seen tens and billions of chats in Copilot, and users are creating images. And so, I mean, we've grown over two times year on year. And we're also seeing daily active users growing over two times. We're seeing deeper feature engagement. People are using voice, and we're also seeing a younger demographic come through our ecosystem. And Copilot's not only changing the way that people search, but is actually shortening the purchase journey. So this is where it gets interesting for so many of you guys, so many people in the room. So when we looked at two user journeys, we found that when Copilot was present, it actually increased the purchases by 53%. And when that journey had shopping intent, it actually grew by 194%. So that just talks about the power of the ability that Copilot can bring relevant information when they are looking. So we're really excited about these numbers. When we talk about advertising, we have a whole team that is AI in advertising. And when we are thinking, when we did some redesign back in October, we thought about what does user-centric advertising really mean? And what it comes down to is just, and I think everybody talked about it, a lot of people up here talked about it today, but it's really about simplifying the experience and making it personal. So we're really focused on how do we reduce all the clutter and just bring that conversation in at the right time. And to this, we've created a lot of momentum in this. And Gen I in advertising should benefit the user, the advertiser, and strengthen our partnerships. So we've done a number of things. We're creating tools to create more engagement with users. We're creating better tools for our advertisers to amplify the capabilities and the capacity that you have. And we're strengthening our partners, and we're expanding our partnerships so that we can bring higher quality and more reach. Okay, so this is a closed pilot, but we just want to give you a quick look at something that we are working on. And in March, we just announced a whole new category of conversational ads. And this one is called Showroom Ads. It's an immersive ad experience that has conversational capabilities. So the idea is, I think, again, I heard a lot of this today. How do you get, when that person is shopping, when somebody's looking to have more educated information as they're going through the funnel, like how do you get that information to them at the right time? And Showroom is exactly that. So let's just take the the scenario that I am looking for shoes, and I'm not and I'm not an expert runner, but I want to look for some shoes. Actually, I am a runner, but I'm not a shoe expert. But, as casually go in and start asking some just general questions. CoPilot is an expert. It's an expert in both. Can give you a, half marathon, how to run and give you a schedule on that. It can also walk you through to what kind of shoes might be appropriate for that training. So when you start to ask questions, CoPilot will give you brands, suggest models, and we'll go through that with you. But when CoPilot actually, and when you start to have that conversation with CoPilot and it detects purchase intent, the idea is that they will invite you into a showroom. And showroom has conversational capabilities and give you dynamic content so that it's giving you the right information at the right time. So the idea is that almost you have an idea of the brand or the type of shoes that you want, but you want further information to be able to make that confident decision. So you'd be invited into a showroom. It's clearly labeled. And once you're in the showroom, it has conversational capabilities so that you can continue to ask more questions. And the showroom will take you through and give you the right answers or the answers that are the benefits of that product. So this is, again, just a pilot right now. But it just gives you a glimpse of the world that we are entering. After this, on our roadmap would be a brand agent. So if you think about a showroom, and then now you can almost think about your own personal shopper. So an agent on your behalf, going through and helping you to guide you through that, navigating through that journey. Like I said, this is just the beginning. It's only been 2 years since CoPilot has launched. We have, we did a huge overhaul back in October, but we're really excited about where we're headed. And so, LP has been a great partner. They did a pilot with us in CoPilot for Microsoft advertising platform. And so they're right along with us in the journey, and hopefully we will continue to innovate together. And I'm gonna hand it over to Joe. He is going to take us through the ecosystem and the full funnel solution. All right, good luck with this.
Thank you, Leslie. All right, so who doesn't love a good pie chart filled with lots of logos? So first thing, hopefully everyone is noticing that Microsoft advertising is more than just Bing search. In fact, if you look at from sort of I would say, an industry perspective, we've kind of got you covered in a lot of areas. We've got gaming, we've got business and social with LinkedIn, we've got obviously a browser, we've got retail media, shopping, we've got a very robust CTV and OTT offering, and then of course, there's this notion of productivity and doing. So when we go through my portion of the presentation, the focus is a little bit of knowledge transfer, a whole lot of excitement, and then to get you out of here on time, because I realize I am keeping you from happy hour and the raffle. So somewhat of maybe you knew this or you didn't notice, but it didn't make it on the Kahoot, which is the Microsoft demographic or our user base, beyond it just being roughly 1 billion people globally, which is quite a bit, we're not as old as everyone thinks, right? So the age of the PC, Excel, and whatnot has kind of evolved to the more of the Microsoft's actually kind of cool, right? So 70% of our users are under the age of 50, and then in keeping with the mindset of this is the PC, this is the workday consumer, very affluent, 63% in the highest income bracket, 30% have a very high purchasing power, and then of course when we talk about the need to be consumers, own their own home. So again, we've got a cool audience that likes to spend money. In our conversations, when we talk to new prospects, potential customers, they always say, hey, Joe, this is great, but I'm already working with Pinterest, or I'm already working with Amazon. And I always say, that's great, because what we have here is this notion of an unduplicated audience. So whether you work on YouTube, Google, Pinterest, what have you, we've got an audience that's ready for your offering. All right. So this is where I'll spend a couple of minutes, because this is where I think sort of the aha moments are going to occur. So not focusing too much on the numbers per se, but Microsoft's ecosystem is really sticky, right? So Leslie walked us through AI. She kicked off the notion of the PC, and it's a very sticky sort of ecosystem that we have. So whether you're like me and you work from home, I wake up at 7 in the morning, I make my way upstairs, I grab a coffee, turn on my machine, and I open a browser. I don't open Outlook, but I open a browser, I run my reports, and I get caught up on today's news. At the same time, we are a productivity company. So when you see things like Microsoft Outlook at 190 million users, that's actually consumer side. So if you have a corporate license or you are enterprise, by no means is this indicative of us showing ads in your corporate email. Productivity, so cloud-based applications. This is where, I'm in Excel, and I'm really looking forward to a vacation, and by gosh darn it, I just saw a Fiji Airways ad. I'm really interested. I'm going to click and do some research and maybe go through sort of that agentic path to purchase that Leslie talked about. Very relevant for today's sort of theme, which is gaming. So whether you're nerd alert like me or just a casual gamer, or you could care less, gaming opens the doors to an audience that is very hard to get in front of, and they're very, very, I would say, sought after. And then we have sort of the social component to our offering, which is LinkedIn. So part of the family tree. If you've worked with us before, you may have heard us talk about LinkedIn. Our partnership is growing. In fact, there's a couple things I'll highlight here, which is not only is it part of our inventory supply, we have very unique targeting that stems from our partnership. So whether you're doing, we'll say you're B2B and you're doing account-based marketing, we have the ability to target companies like Microsoft, like Oracle. Company size, you can target military, a whole slew of different targeting solutions. And again, it's part of the ecosystem. Search. I don't know who else in here finds search to be, I guess, not sexy per se, but search is something where if you had asked me 10 years ago, do you really care that much about search? And I would have said no. But as our ecosystem and our platform has evolved, one of the most powerful things we have in our arsenal is the notion of keyword intent. So as we go through some of the additional slides, I'll probably hit that quite a bit, the notion of keyword intent, the power of search. And when you look at all these logos together too, there's a lot of numbers that are pretty impressive. But the one thing I want to say here is not only do these things have scale on their own, this is also what powers our identity graph. So points of authentication, we own a browser, right? So the browsers become more than just how I check my fantasy football scores or my email. It's a productivity tool. And so we talk about, consumer intent, we talk about conversions, when we talk about tracking and, doing things that are statistically relevant, the browser actually allows us to do quite a bit. So in summation, yes, these logos are great. The numbers are really impressive, but together it really delivers a lot of value to not only our advertisers, but also to our customers, because relevancy and efficiency is what we really strive for. Get behind the back, see if it works. Okay. Devoid on the last slide and worth referencing is Xandr. So while we've made some changes in sort of the programmatic space, what we do, and again, maybe this is news to a lot of folks, is we have the ability to extend these campaigns from our owned and operated, which you just saw quite a bit, which you just saw 2 seconds ago, through 1,600 different publishers. So whether you're leveraging an in-market audience or a remarketing campaign, or, hey, you're going to load first-party data in our platform and do lookalike modeling, we extend your campaigns across all of these publishers, which, again, supports the notion of scale. Impressions, that's a really gaudy number. And just for those at home who are like, oh, that's great, our native network is done on a CPC. So, again, you're only paying for folks who have initiated interest and landed on your website and across 187 markets. All right, so native, and then on to what we would call just our video all-up offering. So OTT, CTV, OLV. We have a very, again, unique offering. All of this is deployable through our UI. So there's no insertion orders. There's no need to even reach out to us if you don't need to, because all these campaigns are pretty turnkey. But again, when we talk about scale, when we talk about the notion of unduplicated audience, MSN.com, which is one of our largest supplies for online video, 175 million uniques. Premium streaming, this is inclusive of all those logos you see there, which from an anecdotal point perspective, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, outside of YouTube and Amazon Prime, almost every single major publisher is part of our package. And then I always feel really silly pointing this number out, but for online video, 1.2 trillion impressions. So again, we don't lack scale, and something we really, really harp on with folks, especially if they're new to the Microsoft advertising ecosystem offering, is do not be afraid to apply a target. Do not be afraid to apply multiple targets. Yes, it squelches things. Yes, it condenses, but the whole notion is being in front of that really, really specific audience. And again, we have the sheer numbers to support doing that. I'll fly through this, which is, again, we've got really unique data, whether, in combination of search intent, profile, web, demographics, and content preferences, but we're also able to leverage your data. We're also able, through the Xandr acquisition and functionality side, we're also be able to support the notion of a data marketplace or secondary data. So again, data, translate to audience. Our platform loves signals. So again, whatever we can do to generate activity that's efficient and delivers results, that's the name of the game. And I know this was referenced earlier with the panel, and then everyone from LP knows I love a funnel slides, but here's where I'll focus here, which is if you are someone who is ROAS or ROI focused or lead generation focused, and you're working with us with search, you should be doing our marketing. If you are a retailer and you have a shopping feed, you should be doing dynamic or what we call feed-based remarketing. Once those two areas are what I say are solidified and dialed in, we then recommend you move up the funnel. In-market audiences, I kind of tipped my hat to this a little bit earlier, which is in-market audiences rely heavily on keyword intent. In fact, all of our 950 different in-marketing segments, they are updated every 3 seconds. So whether I'm just fresh off of that Excel journey and I want to book a trip to Fiji, or I am in a very long journey preparing for holiday shopping, everything is as close to as real time as you can get, incorporating a lot of those signals that I talked about before, which is, again, search, browser, content, and preferences. And again, it's all about identifying folks who are ready to convert. And so if we take the funnel slide, and if we could just pretend that it was sort of here on the left, all of those targeting capabilities flow through all of these different asset types. So whether it's connected TV, video, or display native, every single one of those targeting functions or capabilities flows to these different ad types. So again, if you're a retailer and you've already gone through the manual process of having a very pristine feed, we highly, highly recommend leveraging what we call feed-based remarketing. If you are, again, lead gen focused, native and display for remarketing, I mean, it's almost a no-brainer. And then if you're really saying, Joe, you know what? We've dabbled in OTT. We've seen a lot of success maybe with, some folks like Mountain. We're global. So if, there's other markets that you're, branching out to, we've got the ability to support those global opportunities as well. And this is another slide that I like to spend probably just about 45 seconds on and not fly through, which is this notion of value. So yes, you can track every basic KPI. Click-through rates, yeah, they kind of tell a story. But again, if you're retail centric, if you really are dependent on getting people to sign up for your services, it's all about the ROI. It's all about the return. And so what we are able to do within our platform, because of the vastness of our ecosystem, because of the fact we own a browser, we have a search engine, we have a pixel, we're able to take products like OTT that are typically very brand centric at the top, and we're able to quantify the impact across the funnel, right? We can do this with online video, of course, and we can do this with all the solutions. But again, being able to move beyond just the basic tactic KPIs and into, well, what are my sort of mid-funnel solutions doing for search? How are they performing, on a individual basis? And then fundamentally, what are the sort of the insights that we can leverage to and continue to evolve our, our setup or our bifurcation with Microsoft? At the same time, beyond our in-platform attribution, we're also partnering with a lot of third-party ISVs. So you'll see these logos down here, but the notion here is we can't recreate the wheel on everything, so why not partner with some of the best in class? So if you have, we'll say, an iSpot license, we've actually built in functionality into our UI where you simply authenticate in your OTT campaign, automatically flows through, and it's available in your iSpot reporting UI. Same for Double Verify, Nielsen, and then of course IAS for ad verification. So again, Microsoft, we're focused on scale. Yes, we have a lot of glitz and shiny logos, but we're all about the delivery of value and as quickly as possible. So just a quick visual. I won't spend too much time. This literally is just for visual points, which is on your left here, you'll see what looks like a traditional SERP result that has shopping. You see the red bags, you see the listings, the prices, and the different options. But then as you scroll just to the right, you'll see one of those bags appearing in one of our native ad units. So when I talked about the notion of if you're a retailer, you should be leveraging feed-based remarketing, this is one of those prime examples. And I'll give you a little bit of insight, which is the logic is very, very relevant and also very basic, which is to have that ad on the right show, I have either engaged with that product specifically or I have engaged with your product feed. So again, very relevant, very real time. And again, when you're trying to compete during the holiday season, to have such a very large canvas in front of a shopper, you can imagine the type of results that you get. And again, these are just, again, 2.7x on visitation rate. And the one that really matters, which is 6.9% lift on conversion rate. All right, so yes, we are an audience network. I showcased or talked about the notion of you create a campaign in our UI, it extends beyond our owned and operated based on the audience and where they're going. We've also brought in some more Xandr functionality. So a use case that I think is relevant to folks, which is we have the ability to look at what's called the publish report and see where conversions and success are being delivered. And we've had folks ask for this for a long time. So if you come to me and say, hey, Joe, looks like MSN Money is driving a lot of conversions for us. Well, we now have what's called, we'll say, placement targeting or PMPs, where we can whitelist your account. You can go in and buy this, buy impressions or traffic just for these placements only. So while we're an audience network, we've had so much requests for this type of functionality. So leveraging Xandr and the ability to deliver PMPs, we've brought that into our UI. And here's just some examples. This is Microsoft Edge, MSN.com, and we can just kind of scroll through these. Outlook.com, reference again, this is consumer-based. Casual games, who doesn't love solitaire? All right, so this is nerdy time, and I am a nerd, and I'm really okay with saying that out loud. So, and also supportive of the theme of today's event, which is gaming. So again, whether you're a gamer, whether you're a iPad user, mobile, PC, or console, there is this notion that there's a huge opportunity with gaming. In fact, across the globe, there's 3.4 billion people who fall into the category of a gamer, which ironically is not just all male and is not just teenagers or middle schoolers. And then if you look at the opportunity in comparison to other areas of focus in our industry, there's a lot of money to be shared or had. So again, gaming is a unique opportunity, and Microsoft, despite owning Xbox forever, we are doubling down on it from an ads perspective. And compare it to CTV, yes, it's roughly a similar amount of time, but the difference is from a projected spend, it's not really close. So talking about the ability to kind of give yourself not just an edge, but to engage with a hard-to-find audience, to get on, at times, one of the largest screens in the household, and to maybe not have to spend through the nose because competition isn't really there, it does create a unique opportunity. And so through Xbox, through Activision and Blizzard acquisition, and through MSN Casual Games, we have a very unique opportunity to get in front of gamers in a very relevant and efficient manner. Again, I'm not going to read you all these stats because we're flowing through on time. And then the feedback I got from the last time I presented this was, Joe, we really need to see some examples. So here are some examples. The top left here, this is an example for a marketplace opportunity for Xbox. So Tony Hawk, store and home screens for Xbox, the console and live. Custom reward and video playables. This is through ABK. And then, of course, Microsoft casual games, we do have also some sponsorships. So if we went back to slides, I think 3 ago, I showcased the placement targeting. Some of these do require a little bit more work. They may require a little bit more assistance, but if you are working with your account manager at LP and you have any interest in any of these opportunities or would just like to learn more about gaming, we are absolutely willing and able to do some direct conversations to support these opportunities. And then to kind of reiterate what we've said before, which is don't sleep on activating with Microsoft. If you're doing search with us, if you're doing shopping with us, it is a very turnkey and ROI effective solution. Leslie walked us through the success that we've shared with LP over the years. It just keeps getting better and better. Your teams, if they aren't experts, they will bring us in and we will make sure to run things as flawlessly as possible. And then, again, if you need our help, you have access to us. That's my time.